Welcome to Trailblazers. Today I'm here with Leo. Leo is the founder of both BlueShift and Reflect. Uh, Leo, can you kind of start? Let's start by talking about your project BlueShift. Can you kind of start by telling us what BlueShift is and kind of what you're working on there?
Yeah, for sure. So pretty much for anybody that doesn't know me, 3 years ago when I started on Solana, like I didn't know how to code. And so for me, it has always been like one of my personal mission to actually teach a lot of people like how to develop on Solana, just because I feel like there are a lot of people that were in my same shoes. And thanks to Dean, thanks to Turbine, and thanks to all the people that pretty much like helped me out, I got to become a Solana developer and like have the possibility of like making money for like developing and making money for a living. So it's like it always been my biggest mission, and I always love to like teach new stuff to people. And so pretty much like 6 months ago, Dean came to me, and Dean has always been like my mentor. So I it's one of the best developers that I know ever, and I have to say that he's the best Solana developer on Solana in my opinion. And um, and so pretty much 6 months ago, he came to me and was like, Leo, I love to work together, and I love to teach more people like I did with you. And so pretty much we decided to create BlueShift from this first conversation. And at the end, BlueShift is naturally a dev shop, but at the same time is a fully free, fully open source program that wants to onboard as many developers as possible and take them from zero to actually become the hero of the Solana ecosystem.
Yeah, very cool. So, what are those kind of the things that you've noticed about like maybe the amount of labor or the amount of devs that actually know how to work on Solana projects? And like, did you guys kind of see a gap there, and that's why you thought like something like this was really necessary?
Yeah, definitely. I think there is a big gap that was pretty much like that was left empty after Buildspace closed out. I think like a lot of developer that maybe didn't want to go through bootcamp, didn't want to follow like a course for 6 months, pretty much decided that they wanted to like they needed something on demand. And at the moment, there is no on-demand resources other than the Solana docs and the Solana guides. And so we saw a very big problem that we should have addressed. That is like creating this on-demand resource for developers that maybe are right now in school. Maybe they already have a full-time Web2 job. Maybe they even have like full-time Web3 job in like growth, marketing, and stuff, and they want to become technical. And so the idea there was to create like a seamless on-demand platform where people could just like learn what they wanted and like get a proof of work under form like of an NFT to say, oh yeah, I actually know how to do that stuff.
Okay, so if somebody was like a developer, they didn't really know a lot about Solana, like what would be kind of how would they kind of go through Blue Shift to kind of skill up and be somebody who's like hireable?
Yeah, at the moment we mainly focus on like the developer that are already in the ecosystem, and so pretty much like they know what we're talking about in some sense, and they can just like guide themselves through like all the courses. But definitely one of the idea that we want to is and like for those developer, actually the service that we provide is like there are a lot of junior developer on Solana. There are a lot of junior developer in the ecosystem. All the like if you go to the jobs.solana dashboard, you'll see that everybody requires a senior developer. And so it's like because it's very easy to take a developer from like zero to become a junior developer, so maybe developing their first program, maybe like doing something similar. But then there is like a word that comes from like, oh yeah, I developed a program right now I need to make it production ready, because you need to have audits, you need to have like setting up all the events, you need to like do all these different type of stuff that make that product actually usable for the user. And so for those developers, naturally we want to focus on like the starting point and make it very good. But like what we want to serve to them is like, okay, now you're a good junior developer, we want to take you to become like a senior developer, so you can get hired by all these platform, all these companies. But naturally, as I said before, our idea is like to take those Web2 developers and the students and pretty much like let them start their journey on Solana. And so for that reason, since they probably don't know what they want to learn, we're going to create like some roadmaps after we have like a certain amount of course. Right now we have, I think, like 10 different courses. Doesn't probably make much sense to create like a roadmap or like a developer roadmap to like learn stuff. But naturally, after we ship like 20-30 courses maybe, and like once we ship like some more beginner courses, so it's like, why would you choose Solana over Ethereum? Why would you choose, like, what's Solana, how Solana works in general? Like once we ship all these courses and like we have a good amount of courses, we probably create like a roadmap to say, where are you now? Do you know how to code? Perfect, then start from here. You don't know how to code, you don't know anything about blockchain, you don't know anything about Solana, please start from here. And create like all these roadmaps that actually guides these people to actually know what they should learn.
Yeah. One thing that kind of stands out to me about the website is like both, it's like really slick compared to like a lot of other learning like kind of platforms where it's like not janky. And also the NFT stuff I think is pretty cool. Can you kind of chat about like your kind of thoughts there and how kind of building something like this makes it easier for people to learn, I guess?
Yeah, so I don't know if I can say that in case you can cut it out, but like the team is like just for people, but we are like fully autistic about like the developer experience and like design. And we have like an amazing designer that double up as a front end developer that if they focus on the developer experience. And so pretty much we said, yeah, this probably would be the copy, and like it just run with it and like created this beautiful website and like this beautiful branding that we use for our posts and everything else. And so that was the start. Like Dean told me, I know this guy. I think he's the best front end developer, the best designer, and I completely agree. And like we just said, you have everything. Like you can do whatever you want. And like he created this beautiful design. But naturally, as you said, like one other big part of like what we want to do is like this proof of work. And so the only way that we decided to do, and I think we're one of the first one that like definitely we're the first one on Solana, maybe even on blockchain, but maybe we're the first one in general, because the way that our backend verifier works is like with the nature of like blockchain itself. So it's like every time you create a program, you build your program and you get this compiled program as a file. Then you take this file, you send it to our server, and what our server does is create pretty much like a fake blockchain under the hood, and just like run the program, like deploy the program and like run some tests that actually certify that all the action that we taught you are done the right way. And the cool thing about that is, first of all, we can control all the error that you have. So, for example, instead of like giving you back the normal Solana error, we can give you like more specific error by saying, oh, you know what, the amount of this token account was wrong, so probably you made a mistake here. And so, but at the same time, it's like if everything went right, you certify you certify that you learn how to create an escrow, how to create a vault, how to create an AMM, and after that you can actually mint your NFT that is soul bonded to your wallet. And the cool thing about that as well is that imagine in like 6 months, maybe 8 months even, like we have like very specific courses about like, for example, some partner that want to integrate with us, or like with like some very specific DeFi niche program. And like imagine your Orca, your Radium, and like you're searching for new protocol developer. What you can say is like, let me see who has all the like DeFi NFT, who knows how to actually create an AMM, an advanced AMM, who followed these. And so when you onboard it to your team, you know that they already went through the code base of Radium, because we used it as an example in that exam in the course that we shipped. And so it makes it so much easier to actually certify and actually making sure that we don't have to do the headhunting job, but like people can just like certify and say, yeah, I know everything about the like how your AMM works because I have this NFT that's certified that I went through the course.
Yeah. I think we're kind of in early stages of like using the chain as almost like a resume, but like I think it's really cool. And I think like, especially as like more and more people follow or kind of different people do similar things, it's going to be really cool to like look at somebody's almost on-chain resume of like, what do you know and what can you do? So yeah,
Yeah.
this is like, yeah, pretty cool in that aspect.
Yeah, and to be honest, right now, pretty much like GitHub works that way, because it's like I don't have a resume. Like every time I got hired by a company, I never send my resume. I always send just my GitHub, because they can see everything that I built there. But imagine this: you have like 100 of candidates, maybe 200 of candidates that like pretty much have done like the same smart contracts. It doesn't make any sense to like just go through all the repo and go through all like the code bases and see if they actually know how to do that stuff, because somebody, for example, could just like call the repo that doesn't work and like say, oh yeah, I know how to do an AMM, and like they will probably not go and check in, because like it doesn't make any sense to do that for 200 candidates. And by having this proof of work, actually you make sure that first of all it's very easy for them to know that you actually know your stuff, but at the same time it's very fast during an hiring process that requires a lot of people.
Yeah, that makes sense. Switching over to kind of the dev shop side of what you guys do at BlueShift, like what are some of the stuff that you've kind of, or like some of the big learnings you've kind of gotten by working at a dev shop for a little bit, or like kind of deving on Solana now that you like are actually doing it?
Yeah, so actually I think my first job after learning like how to code Solana was like to open my small dev shop. So I was just like doing work for like random people. For example, I worked for Claynosaurus, I worked from Future Token, I worked from like a lot of like random project on the side. And I think, to be honest, that was one of the best experiences that I ever had, because first, like, naturally it's not always good to just like work alone and just like work with a client, because like shit happens, like everything could happen. Like I have, luckily I always had like the best working condition, and I always like love to work with all the people that I met. But naturally it's like it's not always good, because you need to actually earn for that job and like everything else. And so it's like one month you could have 3 projects, the other month you could have 0. But at the same time, it's like it taught me so much, because first of all, it taught me what we were saying before. That is like that thing. I was probably a junior developer, and I got to learn how to work in a production ready environment, because I had to ship those products. And at the same time, it's like I was on my own. I was like, I needed to design the program. I need to find out the most optimal way to actually create those program and everything else. And so it taught me so much. Naturally, right now in the BlueShift Dev Shop, we work with clients that are a little bit bigger than the one that I was taking on by myself. But to be honest, it's been an amazing journey. And luckily, me and Dean decided to pretty much work only on products that we are really excited about, and we have the possibility of that choice. So we're really lucky. And I think like I think like probably I can say a couple have not been released yet, so I cannot say anything. But like, for example, we did all the migration for virtuals from Base to Solana. We worked for 10K, the 10K project, that it was like a token launch, a creator token launchpad. We worked for Foundation to create the new Solana naming service, and that was actually super cool, because it's one of the first very optimized Pinocchio program. And like when we took the job, we said, guys, do you mind if we do it in Pinocchio? And like we showcase like everybody the power of like actually doing something like this in Pinocchio. And it sucked, because like there is no like still the Pinocchio ecosystem is very early, but at the same time it's like was such an amazing thing to just like work on really hard stuff and like really exciting stuff, that I was just so happy to do that.
Okay, yeah, very cool. So since you're kind of getting into all these contracts and working on stuff, where do you think, like, where do you think you kind of have alpha in like what's going on in Solana? Like, what do you think that you see that people who aren't really like digging into the guts of these contracts like don't see? Yeah, where are you ahead, I guess?
Definitely, to be honest, I think so. The first alpha, and if I don't say this, like Dean probably is gonna kill me. Like the first alpha is actually assembly in general. I love all the people that are rolling up and like trying to create contracting using assembly, because like I think like 6 months ago, maybe even a year ago, I think people didn't even think it was possible to write program in assembly, and Dean pretty much like not discovered a way, but like had an idea on actually how to do that. And lately we've been focusing a lot on like how to improve all those tools, and like how to improve the DevX of like developing program with assembly, just because it makes action and like a certain type of action in general, like certain type of smart contracts, super efficient and super small. And so it's actually like the possibility of like incrementing 10x the possibility of like doing certain type of transaction, just because they are so small, they are so efficient. But definitely like another really big shadow is to Fabo and like what it did with Pinocchio, just because it's such an improvement from Anchor and like Solana program Create, that it just and it's like so much fun in my opinion to code using Pinocchio. And so like these probably are the two biggest development alpha. If we think a little bit more about the product side, I think there is a lot of like a lot of people are really excited about moving to Solana. We talked with a lot of EVM project from Base and from other chain that actually are looking to migrate to Solana. And I think like there is a very very big excitement in general on like developing on Solana, just because of like all the beautiful work that the guys at Solana Foundation are doing to push the momentum forward, about like how efficient it is, how consumer focused it is, and like how the experience in general, it's like so much better than every other chain.
Yeah. So specifically going into that, like the assembly and the Pinocchio stuff, if contracts are written like that, what does that kind of unlock, like maybe at the app level once like a more like a bigger ecosystem is built, kind of
So
using that
so
method?
definitely it's like so right now, so before like the latest CMD that is being that is getting merged, that actually increased the transaction size and increased the CEUs to 60 million. Before that, it was like a lot of program actually weren't possible on Solana yet, because of like the transaction size and like the CEU requirement of the program. And with Pinocchio you could just like half, even like I think you could even like just spend like one fourth of like all these CUs and all these transaction size. And so what it actually unlock, and like it unlock, first of all, way less cost for the user in priority fees. So when like the chain is very very congested, you could actually save so much money to your user if you are actually writing optimized program. And naturally it's like you can fit more instruction, you can fit more logic, you can fit a lot of more stuff into this type of program, compared to like their counterpart of like Anchor and like normal native programs.
Okay, yeah, very cool. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about Reflect, the stablecoin project you're working on. So can you kind of give an introduction to that and what Reflect is?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm one of the co-founder of Reflect. We won the hackathon in December. So not the one that just finished, but like the previous one. We were the grand winner of the Coliseum hackathon. We went on and went into the accelerator, and then we went on and raised some fund in San Francisco that we haven't announced yet. So I cannot name any name of like a round yet, but soon when we launch, that actually should be in like one or 2 week, we actually can make names as well. But yeah, pretty much like the main difference between Reflect and like all these stable, like the stablecoin industry in general, like the stablecoin ecosystem is like getting talked by everybody's super excited about like fast transaction, cheap settlement, and everything else. But the main difference between what all these stablecoin products are doing and what Reflect is doing is actually that Reflect is fully on chain. So we never custody any funds for the user, and we have different. Reflect is not just a stablecoin, but it's a framework of stablecoin. And this means that for each strategy that we employ that generates yield for that stablecoin, we actually have a different stablecoin. And this means that, for example, a very very safe, very very low yield but like very very safe stablecoin could be one that just like use arbitrage between borrowing API. So moving between like Drift, Camino, and like all these different platforms that offer borrows. But other strategies that might be a little bit more interesting are like all the delta neutral strategy, similar to what Ethereum is doing. So, for example, you have the possibility of using as collateral JLP, and like at the same time shorting both Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Solana, and earning that the funding rates of like shorting this token while earning the undervaluing API of JLP as well. And the cool thing about this is like all positions are delta neutral, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter like what price JLP is. It doesn't matter like the size. It just matters that I deposited $100. I'm gonna get $110 like after a year if the API is 10%.
Okay, very cool. So basically, Reflect allows you to invest in like different like yield or like DeFi strategies that are like pegged to a dollar with some sort of yield on top of them. And why did you kind of choose to like allow somebody to pick from a variety of strategies rather than like making one combined risk pool or like one stable coin? What was the kind of decision?
So the main reason is the same reason why we decided to do everything fully on chain. We want to become the saving account for lazy people on Solana. And at the same time, it's like imagine this: like I'm a wallet provider, or like I'm a card provider, a crypto card provider, and I just want to get the like I just like custody funds from for the user that they can spend with the card. For me, it makes sense to just like take a very very low risk, but that still gives me a API to actually earn that money. And so like these people are not interested, like even if they would like an additional yield, they're not actually interested in doing like delta neutral strategy. They're more interested in like doing the borrow arbitrage just because it's so safe, since it's like triple or quadruple insured by like all these different protocol. And so like the reason behind that is like, I want you to choose what risk you want to take on the stablecoin. The stablecoin are risk free, or at least should be risk free, but naturally it's like even in the most risk free program, like there are certain type of like risk free stuff. And so it's like, I want you to choose like what you're comfortable to hold. And so then you can build up your basket of like uh, borrow arbitrage, delta neutral, bond arbitrage, and like everything else. But I want you to have the possibility of choosing that.
Cool. So there's kind of like an explosion of stablecoins right now, like all sorts of different types of yields, like from like Maple, what they're doing, to like maybe Lulo, who's running kind of a similar strategy but isn't tokenized. How do you think of kind of standing out in that field of stablecoins and trying to like grab market share and like when there's like a lot of different strategies out there?
Yeah, definitely. I think like the main it's like it's all B2B partner. It's like a lot of people think about this stablecoin as like a B2C, like mostly like this yield bearing stablecoin as more like a B2C product, but actually in my opinion they're fully completely B2B. It's like you need to attract the product that actually will create sticky capital for you, because for them they have like a very unique value proposition that they can attract. For example, a crypto card they can attract just because people want to spend their crypto. And like at the same time, it's like for a stablecoin, they have to choose between like institutional stablecoin, different type of yield, different type of risk, and like it becomes a lot confusing, and it becomes a lot difficult to actually convince a consumer to just like choose yours. And so it's like if you create like partnership with like sticky partner that actually want to use your stablecoin under the hood to generate yield for their user, it makes it so much better to, and so much as a bigger selling point to actually get adoption to your stablecoin.
And when you're like pitching these people, are you kind of showing them the benefit of maybe using these as collateral or something like that? Or is it more just like these are going to be your treasury reserves or your customers' treasury reserves?
So it depends a lot about like who we're pitching, but at the moment we're mainly pitching savings account and like DeFi integrator. So for example, the possibility of using our yield bearing stablecoin as as pair into your token pool, just because that makes like the impairment loss a little bit less, because it's like you're continuing to earn yield, and at the same time it's like you're driving way more volume every time like a tick of the stablecoin goes up. But yeah, for mainly the saving accounts people, I think like the main value proposition, everything on chain, is that they can actually still spend USDC. So imagine the possibility of like every time you're a vendor, you're receiving USDC through Venta or like through all these payment provider, and imagine it's like if at the end of that transaction there was an instruction that wrapped all those USDC into the yield bearing stablecoin. And at the same time, it's like every time you have to pay something in USDC, you can always use the yield bearing stablecoin, because unwrapping is just like a very very small instruction that happens on chain and happens atomically. And so it's like all this quality of life, all this quality of life stuff that actually make it so much easier to integrate it. And like it makes it pretty much like it doesn't make any sense for like this saving account to not actually integrate something like that.
Okay, very cool. And so you said it's kind of a framework for these different strategies. Eventually, are you thinking of letting these frameworks be like a permissionless thing, or are you going to roll them out on your own? How are you kind of thinking about that?
So actually, the way that Reflect is set up is completely permissionless. So the idea is that in this early stage, at least before we have some type of governance, we're developing this as like we are the contributor, like us as like the company is called Palindrome, the company that is contributing to the Reflect protocol is just like a contributor. So you would see that as like more of like a Uniswap and the Uniswap Foundation. So like Uniswap is completely permissionless. There could be more contributors that contribute to the to Uniswap, but at the same time, it's like at the moment we are the one that are they are the main contributor for that protocol. And so in the future, we definitely see when we have the possibility of like adding governance and adding some security measure, we definitely see like other contributors stepping up and like creating this strategy and like getting the revenue for themselves for instead of like us as the company.
Okay, yeah, that's really cool. Um, I guess switching gears another time, let's kind of talk about like how you got into crypto. What was like the moment that you were like, I'm full time crypto. This is what I want to do. Like, yeah, when was that moment for you?
So 3 years ago, I think I was doing biomedical engineering. Actually, where I'm at right now, I'm at my old university, and pretty much like I wasn't really in love with like what I was studying, and at the same time, in the meantime, I was like using Steppen. I don't know if people remember, but it was like the game where you had to run or like walk, and like based on how much you walked or how much you run, you were earning some crypto. And so that's like the way that I got into crypto for the first time. Even if I heard about Bitcoin like I think everybody heard about Bitcoin in like 2012, but like nobody bought it, so I don't think that count. But yeah, pretty much I got into crypto with Steppen, and like after doing here at the university like a coding exam, like I just fall in love with coding, and I said I think coding would like I want coding to be my life. And so I just like put one and one together, and I said I think I'm starting to understand blockchain. I think there is a lot of value there. I think I love coding, and I see there are missing a lot of like coder are missing a lot on chain. So why don't just like try to take the two things and like just put it together? And pretty much like that's how I decided to pursue like a career as a blockchain developer. Naturally, I didn't like quit my university like at that point. I just like started learning, start like contributing, and like after I was secure that I could actually land a job, I just like decided to quit my university and decided to go full time in crypto.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like the first app you touch, it's like stepping. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, yeah, I could say that actually one other of the I always say that I'm I'm not that proud, but like I lost a lot of money with Stefan, and so I always think that like my biggest driver for becoming like a blockchain developer is like I need to make it all back, and like I'm not making it back with Stefan or like NFT or like tokens. I need actually a job.
so kind of looking forward, like what are some of the things that kind of excite you that like you're not specifically working on about kind of the industry, Solana, kind of, yeah.
To be honest, I'm really excited about like these like how all these new competitor of Solana are like coming up. Like I think like Solana has a lot of value, and like I think it's going to be the winner for a very long time. But I always like to see like all these new approach to like blockchain. So for example, we have Unto Labs that are going out with True. We have like naturally hyperliquid. We that some people said that it's not actually a blockchain, but we have like mega ETH and like all these different type of blockchain that people think that would be the Solana killer. And so this actually excites me a lot because knowing how the Solana ecosystem is, they're not just like gonna go out and say, "Oh yeah, oops, somebody killed Solana. We're not gonna work on this anymore." But it's like it actually lights up a fire under all these contributors that actually push to make Solana better and push to make Solana unique. So I'm really excited about seeing all these competitors because I think like like all this competition would actually make Solana better. And we're actually like what I'm excited about is like all the things that I don't even know they're gonna be optimized because of like all this competition work.